I'm here on page 15, and I'm going to title page 15, Solving One-Step Equations Using Inverse Operations. So on page 14, we solved one-step equations, but we just did it by kind of looking at them and thinking, okay, what number times 6 equals 18, right? We just kind of thought about it. But here we're really going to get into the strategy of using inverse operations, which is how we're going to solve all kinds of equations in algebra. So here's what we have to remember. When we solve an equation, the goal is to get x, okay, sometimes it's an x, sometimes it's an n, sometimes it's an a, usually it's an x, by itself. So we want the answer to look like this. X equals some number, okay? And this is called isolating. Isolate means to get something by itself. So our goal is to isolate the variable. Okay, isolate means to get by itself, and the variable is the letter, in this case, x. Okay, now here is how we reach that goal. Here is our method. We do the inverse of what's happening to x. So whatever's happening to x, we're going to do the inverse. Inverse means opposite. So inverse operations, like let's say I see something being added to x, I'm going to subtract. Now let's say I see something being subtracted from x, I'm going to add. These are inverse operations. They undo each other. Okay? Same with multiplying. If I see x being multiplied, I'm going to divide. If I see x being divided, I'm going to multiply. Multiplication and division are inverse operations. And here's the thing. You have to do everything to both sides of the equation. You can't ever just do anything to just one side. That is not allowed. Whatever you do, you have to do to both sides of the equation. So let's take a look at a few examples with adding and subtracting first. Okay, so these are going to be your examples. Right, so let's take a look. Let me scoot this up a little bit. So here are some examples. We're going to start with adding and subtracting, and then we'll take a look at more examples with multiplying and dividing. So here's an equation. X plus 5 equals 7. Now, this means a number plus 5 equals 7. Could you probably figure out that number without doing anything? Probably. But right now, the point is that we are going to learn what it looks like to solve an equation in algebra, and the strategies we learn on simple equations like this will work for us all the way up to the most complicated equations. So remember, what I'm doing is I am trying to get x by itself. Okay, I'm trying to get x by itself. So in this case, what I need to get rid of is this 5, right? Because look, so we can draw like a little wall on the equal sign. What I want is x by itself on one side of that wall. So in order to do that, I need to get rid of this positive 5. So I'm going to do the inverse of what's happening to x. What's happening to x? 5 is being added. So I'm going to do the inverse. The inverse of adding is subtracting. So I'm going to subtract 5. And if I subtract 5 on one side of the equation, I have to subtract 5 on the other. The reason is these two things are equal. This, x plus 5, is equal to this, 7. So in order for them to stay equal, I have to do the same thing to both sides. Okay? So this is 5 minus 5. That's 0. Okay, that's 0, and we don't write it. We're going to write x equals 7 minus 5 is 2. And this is your answer. Okay, here's another example. X minus 4 equals 5. This means a number minus 4 is 5. Again, probably you can figure it out without doing this, but we're going to do inverse operations. So right now, what's happening to x? 4 is being subtracted from x. What's the inverse of subtraction? It's addition. So if I see minus 4, I'm going to add 4. If I do it on the left side, I have to do it on the right side. So then I'm doing 5 plus 4, that's 9. And that's my answer. Okay, you're going to go ahead and you're going to do the next 3 problems. Okay, those are going to be your practice problems. And you're going to set them up right here. So in order to set those up, you're going to write number 3. You'll copy problem number 3 and do it right there. Number 4, you'll copy problem number 4 and do it right there. And number 5, and you'll copy problem number 5 and do it right there. Okay, so make sure you copy those and do those in those spots.